Ladies and gentlemen, KocoSports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. It's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got, well, 2/3 of the Coco crew here coming at you live. You got me, the sexiest man on all Internet Wrestling Radio. That's right, Boom Boom here, shaking the room live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. And of course, join me way down there in Sweet Home, Alabama, the man who puts laughter into manslaughter, talking about none other than Sammy Sinister. What's up, brother?
Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls of all ages. Again, we are actually here. This is not a drill. This is real. You can see there's new shit behind me because I'm having to go gorilla today. I am at my mother's house like a good old Southern boy. We came over here for the weekend. They's done went to church in the morning, and I begged her to let me stay so that I could get a little bit of sleep. Instead of sleeping in, I decided to get up and talk about good old-fashioned family wrestling with y'all. Roll Tide America Bud Light NASCAR.
Well, that you would spontaneously combust upon entry if you went to a church.
It's a grand possibility. So what are we talking about today, Booms? You tell me.
Well, man, we got to talk some Lucha Underground, man. Ultima Lucha Tres finally wrapped up this past week. My mind completely just blown. If you haven't seen it, I really feel like you owe it to yourself as a wrestling fan, especially if you followed Lucha Underground from the beginning. This could be their swan song. I'm not going to say it is, but there's a possibility that may have very well been their very last episode. And if it is, then, you know, it was a hell of a note to go out on. But, okay, Sam, I guess I got to ask you. The first question I was going to ask is, was it a win? Was it a win, or was it a win?
I mean, clearly, the entire 4 nights combined is absolutely a win for me. Now, don't take that from us as this. Like, I'm going to gush over this entire thing. I absolutely adored it. I loved it. Y'all know how I am about Lucha and Lucha Underground. That being said, not everything is great. There were a couple stinkers in here. But not the end of the world. In general, like Boom said, you owe it to yourself to go to watch this. It has what is perhaps the most violent match I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's saying something.
It really is. I've been watching wrestling a very long time, and I've even watched those god-awful, terrible, hit somebody with a weed whacker death matches. This was probably more violent than that, but it was also an actual wrestling match. And we'll get into the finale here in a little bit. But I can tell you that me watching that finale Thursday night by myself at 11 o'clock at night, because I had to close that night. Like, I had food in front of my computer because I couldn't watch it on my TV. And I like threw my food out of the way. I was just screaming at my TV. And I'm sure my friggin' people who live next to my apartment were super thrilled with it. But yeah, it is definitely worth the watch. There's some great, fantastic storytelling in here, and quite a few surprises.
Yeah, definitely. Oh God, there was a ton of surprises. Then they had a lot of cameos in there, a lot of surprise appearances. I'm gonna, you know, there are a few things to critique, and I guess we'll kind of get into that. There were some highs, there were some lows. I'll tell you what. Let's just go ahead and start out here. Let's see.
Start with night one.
Yeah, let's start with night one. The first one was, and I felt like this was probably a great thing to start out with, because it wasn't, as far as priority goes, this wasn't very high on the priority scale. So I think it was good. This was a good match to set the tone. You had Famous B versus Tejano, and with Tejano's contract on the line, if Famous B won, then Dario would turn Tejano's contract over to Famous B. Well, since Famous B was hurt, he got a tag team partner and became a handicap match. That tag team partner was none other than Dr. Wagner Jr. And of course, if you saw my review of Triple Mania,
he has since become unmasked.
He's become unmasked. He got unmasked earlier in the summer.
He looked nothing. Slight detour. He looked nothing like I expected him to look. He looks like a kindly old Mexican grandfather.
Yes,
but I've seen Dr. Wagner wrestle, and I've heard other people talk about him, and he is just a hardcore motherfucker. Also, another match going to watch. You know, I'm going to promote Lucha as much as possible. Go watch the main event of Triple Mania. Just the main event, because most everything else is terrible.
Oh God, like the last 2 matches, the only thing that saved it.
Yeah.
Vampiro, you got to work on your booking, son. You got to work on your booking. Okay, next, the main event of night one. By the way, this ended with
well, just real quick, to go back to Famous B versus Tejano. Famous B does win. I don't know if we said that or not. So Tejano is now contractually obliged to be part of Famous B's squad. It wasn't a bad match by any means. It's what you can expect from 2 very good hands in the ring, given about 5 or 6 minutes from Tejano and Dr. Wagner. And Tejano is somebody that I thoroughly enjoy, that I wish Lucha Underground used a bit more, personally.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the few people I feel like, he's so good, use him just a bit more. And I mean, he had those series of matches with Cage that were fantastic. But I want a little bit more from him. Because I think, am I correct, Booms? They only had like 5 or 6 minutes tops.
I don't think they even got 5 minutes, but they had it was an okay match, but Famous B gets in. If they get a season 4, it'd be interesting to see. I would actually like to see Famous B start to build a stable.
Yeah.
He could put something, because then you got Famous B. He could be the mouthpiece. He could be the guy you want to wring his neck, but he hardly ever gets in the ring.
He can be a good Bobby Heenan kind of manager, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, he's the kind of guy that finally, once you get him in the ring, it's like, okay, now it's going to be a big deal because now he can't run anywhere and somebody's going to shut him up. That's the direction I would go with it.
I don't disagree.
You're taking notes, son. Please tell me you get your pad and pencil out. You're taking notes. Next, and this was the second match here, and in my opinion, this match stole Ultima Lucha Tres.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. It may not have been my favorite match after all was said and done with all 4 nights, but we're going to get into what my favorite matches were. And as I said at the top of the card, guys, this is the match I was referring to that might, in fact, be the most violent match I've ever seen.
Talk about Killshot versus Dante Fox, the Hell of War match. Best 2 out of 3 falls.
Damn,
my
guys.
God, those two tore each other apart
quite literally.
Me and Sammy were, and you can ask Sammy, man. We were like messaging back and forth on this one, and I was like, was that real glass? Was that real glass or was that fake glass? And Sammy's like, no, I think it was real. I was like, God, I hope it was fake. I hope it was like, I know that they have ties, to Hollywood, to Los Angeles. So I'm thinking they're getting that glass.
Sugar glass.
Yeah, that glass that they use, in stunt, in action movies, where all it is basically sugar. It's compressed sugar. It looks like glass, it shatters like glass, but it's not glass. And then they did the stretcher spot. And I literally see a piece of skin, like they moved Dante Fox off the stretcher.
About 2 inches, about 1 inch piece of his flesh was left on that stretcher. Mind you, he also got tossed into a board covered in barbed wire, which is where I think that injury might have happened, because I'm still convinced it was sugar glass, which can cut you, by the way. As someone that did theater for quite a long time, it can hurt you if you're not careful, especially when you land directly on it like they did.
Yeah, and I was thinking, well, how'd they do the blood? I thought, well, maybe some of the markings on it was blood packets, and I was like, and I started overthinking it, and then it wasn't until later on in the and we'll get into that a little bit later. But when I saw him like later in the event, they did a close up of his back. I was like, nope, I don't think you can fake that. These guys literally put each other through panes of glass.
3 of them to be exact.
But the final spot, the spot that won it for Killshot, was when he busted like a beer bottle over Dante Fox. They were up there where the band is, and Dante Fox did like this super villain teeter, and falls over and goes through several panes of glass, gets put in the back of a military ambulance. Killshot wins the match, and I was just like, oh my God, this is only night 1.
Yeah. If you're like me, and I know me, Booms, LK, I can assume I'm going to talk for Dave, but I've never heard him actually say it. I hate death matches. I hate them. They are people that claim to be wrestlers that aren't wrestlers, that are getting to a ring where they have no business being and causing untold damage upon one another. This match you could call it a death match. It was a 2 out of 3 falls death match, but the storytelling involved therein and the actual execution of the wrestling that was there made this so much fun to watch. You remember it because of those super crazy spots, but then you remember like, oh no, those 2 guys really did a fantastic wrestling match. And if they wouldn't have had any of the death match gimmicks, it still would have been a really goddamn good wrestling match.
Yes, it still would have. So
these guys, kudos, and we'll get into why I'm going to say this statement a little bit later, but that night, they are all that is man. It was bananas. It's definitely people that say this is the best match of the night, I'm not going to agree, but I'm not going to argue with you because it easily could have been. It is fantastic.
Yeah, and both of those guys came a long way. I mean, Killshot was somebody who was introduced, I think, late in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
He was just,
No, he was in season 1.
Oh, he was in season 1? Was it late in season 1?
It was midway late season 1.
Yeah, because I remember they just kind of brought him in. It was just like, okay, this guy's a former military guy, and he wears a mask. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And he's somebody who really shined. He took the ball and rolled with it. The same thing with Dante Fox. That's A.R. Fox from the Independents. And he's somebody who just really, I think, really grasped onto the concept of Lucha Underground and just ran with it and really made a name for himself.
And I think a lot of this, close, the lion's share needs to go to the wrestlers. But a lot of this needs to go to the writers and producers, Chris DeJoseph, who we had the pleasure of talking to on here. The creativity they have in making you care about everyone on their staple. Killshot was somebody you really didn't care about, and then in one less than 5-minute backstage promo where he got the letter saying, "You left me for dead," you're like, I've got to know what's the story now, what's going on, and that is brilliant. And this is the culmination of that story, clearly, if you've been following along with Dante Fox. And Dante Fox just took to fucking Lucha Underground like a fish to water. It was really fun to see these two guys interact because you believe they had legit history with each other. And I'm fairly certain they probably never met until Lucha Underground. And I adore that. With very few exceptions, Lucha Underground makes you give a damn about everybody on their roster.
Yes, they do. Then we get that was just night 1.
That was just night 1, guys. Now look how much we gushed. That was one fucking night. We got 3 more to go.
All right, so we go to night 2 here, and now the first we start out with the battle royal for a quote unquote ultimate opportunity. You had Vinny Masario, the Mac, Son of Madness, the Rabbit Tribe, Ricky Mandel, PJ Black, returning Pimpinella Escarlata.
That was fun.
Mascarita Sagrada, Mala Suerte, I mentioned him. Yeah, Joey Ryan and Argenis came in there, and this was quick, and honestly, it needed to be.
Yeah.
There was really no build up for this, but here's the thing: after watching Lucha Underground, everybody in the locker room, they've been there. Every time that Dario says, "Okay, I've got a unique opportunity for you," the first thing you should do is just be, "No,
nope, I'm not involved."
No. Because people have this bejesus beaten out of them. They've been fired. Just every time Dario gives you some kind of unique opportunity, somebody gets hurt really bad.
Pretty much.
But
this was a fun little quick. If you're used to classic style lucha free for alls, battle royals, then this is pretty much what we're going to get here. Unlike the ones from Triple Mania that were fuck awful, this one's still fun. There's some really fun spots. The Rabbit Tribe is somebody I've really grown to enjoy. I did not enjoy them at their premiere and their launch. But they've become really fun to me. And there's those people, when I see them, I'm like, oh, yeah, the Rabbit Tribe. They're a lot of fun to watch. And I put it on Facebook, and I'm fairly certain I texted Booms as well. But when this match was over, and spoiler, I'm about to give away the secret, the Mac does walk away with the win for the unique opportunity with the stunner.
And the unique opportunity, he was given a Trios Championship shot, but
next night.
Yeah, but Dario got to pick his partners, and so he picked Killshot and Dante Fox.
You can imagine it's essentially getting 2 battle-wounded vets that you have to go fight a war with. And that match, we'll get there soon as well. And I texted Booms after this match was over, and I'm like, no, I can't lie to myself anymore. The Mac is one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. I adore the Mac.
Return of the Mac.
He's so fucking good. He makes everything look crisp. He's fluid. He doesn't have the best character in the world, but his character doesn't, it works for Lucha Underground. I couldn't tell you how it works on the Independents. I've not seen many of his matches, but he's somebody that is just fucking fun to watch. And he uses the stunner without it seeming like cheesy to do so. You feel like that is his finisher. Like, yeah, you could put somebody down with that. And it helps that everyone in that locker room could sell the stunner like a motherfucker. But he did get the unique opportunity, and you could tell the bag was like, oh, fuck. Son of a bitch. But a nice little fun match. Again, I think maybe 5-6 minutes, if even.
Yeah,
I don't even think it was 4 minutes. I think it was 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 3.5.
Yeah.
Next, we had a women's match. We had Katrina taking on Ivelisse. This was done, I think, on episode 1.
Episode 1, season 3.
Yeah, they had a match, and then they challenged. They said, "You know what? Let's just settle this at Ultima Lucha Tres, bitch." And that's,
that got said a lot, by the way. There was a lot of "I'm gonna do this," dramatic pause, bitch. Lots of those.
So and this match, to be honest, wasn't that bad because because I'd never seen Katrina wrestle, not since her stint in NXT. I hadn't seen her wrestle since then, so I didn't know how she was going to be, and I think she did a pretty good job, and Ivelisse did a good job working around her.
Yeah, I mean this is by far not the best match on the card at all, not even close. But if you watch it for what it is fun, and there was a lot of blood.
I think it was positioned perfectly where it was on the card.
No, I don't disagree. I had to go back and count. I think like 75-80% of the matches had blood in them. There were more matches that didn't have blood than did have blood, which as somebody that likes blood in my wrestling, you have to use it sparingly. And when it was used, for the most part, it was used well, but I think there was a little too much in some of them. Personally. But Ivelisse did get busted open, though I couldn't tell for like a good minute because the color, the blood running out of her face was the exact same color as her hair. So I was like, okay, her hair's in her face. And I looked up like, oh, no, she's bleeding. And Ivelisse does walk away with the victory on this one.
Yeah, but it gets ruined because Jeremiah Crane comes in the ring, attacks her with a hammer, and then
fucking hammer
clocks the fuck out of her fucking ankle with a fucking just a fucking claw hammer, son. I mean, we're not. They weren't even fucking playing.
It was that was one of the few times I'm like, I understand if you watch the backstage segments and you understand why Jeremiah Crane did that because he's in love with Katrina and he was really only using Ivelisse to get to Katrina, and then they broke up with one another and yada 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 shit was said because I'm Ivelisse and I'm a badass, and then he clocked her, but it still didn't make a lot of sense to me. Like there wasn't enough reason for him to hit her. Like if it changed a little bit and she had beat Katrina and then was she about to smash Katrina with the rock?
No, I don't think she was. She was just celebrating. I
think if that was the case, if she had picked up the rock and was holding it above Katrina like her hit it, and then Jeremiah Crane hit her, I'd be like, okay, I understand because he's in love with Jeremiah Crane. He's in love with Katrina. It would have made a little more sense. This one was a little, they kind of stretching it, but I understand what they were going for.
Then next we get to the hair versus mask match. Phoenix taking on Marty the Moth Martinez. The
most violent hair versus mask match I've ever seen.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, Phoenix about had his mask taken off. Period.
You could pretty much see his face.
By the way, can I give props to Melissa Santos? She really fucking dude. She's got some good acting chops as well.
I believed her, and that's the biggest thing about Lucha Underground. I think a lot of it helps in how they present their product, and that they present it like a TV show. Because when shit like this happens, I believe it. I believe, Melissa Santos is in love with Phoenix. And I always forget that, complete side note, I always forget that Phoenix is Pentagon's brother, his real life brother. I always forget that. Back to the story at hand. But I believed it. She sold it so well. Like she was genuinely terrified for his life.
Yeah, because it got really scary because, when
there was one spot that I did not like.
The fucking scissors. When he picked up those scissors, and I'm like, how far are they really going to take this? Because think about it. I've already seen somebody crash through several panes of glass. I've seen a woman get her ankle shattered with a claw hammer, and I'm thinking it's really not below Lucha Underground to fucking
murder somebody in the ring,
to fucking stab somebody with that shit. Because I'm just like, and then Melissa
he did that gimmick where he got it on his head, which I've seen before. That's not that scary. The one that scared me with the scissors is that he opened them and put them at Phoenix's throat. That scared me. That scared me bad.
Because you're just like
somebody that's accident prone, and he had to have so much trust in Marty the Moth because that takes a lot of trust. And fucking in season 3, it took 2 seasons, but you finally see Marty the Moth was like, oh no, this guy can really fucking wrestle, and he's really good at psychology, and he's so invested in that character that you believe he's a
guy.
Creepy bastard. That is "you sick fuck" was a new chant I heard this night, which definitely works. I did thoroughly enjoy this match.
Yeah, Phoenix gets the win. Marty wasn't he was about to back out. He was not going to get his head shaved. but he was attacked by his sister Mariposa, who handcuffed him to the railing, to the stairwell, right there at the entrance, and they cut his hair, then shaved his head, or best they could. I kind of didn't get why Mariposa attacked. I guess maybe she was fed up with his bullshit, his obsession.
They needed, they've been building up to it, and she's always been telling like, hey, she's making you weak. You need to keep her head in the game. She's making you weak. This, that, and that. And they've been building up to it. I just think we needed one more segment to solidify this, with them talking like, Marty, this is your last chance. If you fuck this up, I don't know what's going to happen to us. Boom, end of story. But that story was there. It just needed a little bit more story.
Oh, by the way, since we're talking about Melissa Santos, can I just give her a big congratulations?
For what?
I found out that she's expecting a child.
Oh, with Phoenix?
No, not with Phoenix. It's gonna blow your mind, because it kind of blew my mind, because I didn't see how it was physically fucking possible. But with Cage.
Well, congratulations, guys.
I'm surprised he didn't kill her.
It's kind of like, you know what? We're just gonna leave that right on the table. We'll take that up another day. That's like a Rock going having sex with a rag doll.
I know. All right, then we get to night 3. Now, putting all things aside, because I think we've talked about it and addressed it, but let's just take this match for what it was. Taya versus Sexy Star for the last Luchador standing match.
Easily the worst match on the card to me.
I enjoyed it. I think there was a good storyline there. There was bad blood. Now let's just take current events and set that aside. What I'll reiterate what happened at Triple Mania with Sexy Star. What she did to Rosemary was absolutely wrong, and she should just admit that she fucked up. Just take it on the chin and just move on.
It's been her actions after the event that is really.
I think she's been
fuck you, Sexy Star.
I think the mistake she made is instead of just going, okay, I fucked up. Well, look, that wasn't my intention. It was an accident. I think she doubled down on it, made that hole even deeper, and it just made it worse for herself. But this was done well before that. So taking it for what it was, I still enjoyed it. There was bad blood there because Taya cost Sexy Star the Lucha Underground Championship, had messed around with all her matches, and finally, there was just a lot of bad blood. I like the ending. I like it when they went to the top up there with the podium where the camera's at. They came crashing down through a table. Sexy managed to get up. I think it was like the count of 8, count of 9. She wins. Taya's finally defeated in that, and so again, oh man, and Taya did a pretty good blade job in that one.
Yeah, the match wasn't bad. Let me
Ric Flair. When Ric Flair used to blade and his blonde hair would just turn like crimson red, that's what it reminded me of.
This match isn't a bad match by anything, but it is the worst match on the card. Now, take that what it is. I still liked the worst match on the card. It just, especially after the Ivelisse Katrina match and this match, it wasn't bad. It just didn't hold up. And people are like, oh, you didn't like it because it just wasn't extreme as the other matches. Not at all. They had some scary ass spots in there. It just something about it wasn't quite up to par. And that's nothing against these ladies, because I've seen both those ladies have fantastic goddamn matches. Sometimes you're just off one night. And I think it was. But it was still entertaining. So take that for what it is. It's definitely, don't skip any match if you're going to watch all 4 nights. Don't skip any match. This one is definitely one worth watching.
All right, next we get to the Trios Championship match. You had...
Shadow Widow. Sorry, I just wanted to say that.
All right. You had the Reptile Tribe. You had Drago, Pendar, and Vibra with Cobra Moon defending against Dante Fox, Killshot, and the Mac. The question about this going in here was how cohesive was Killshot and Dante Fox going to be just essentially a night after they destroyed each other, and plus what was going to be left of them. And, you know, how's the Mac going to pull this together? And they made it work.
Damn good match. Again, Killshot and Dante told a really good story where they, and props every single night to Matt Striker and Vampiro.
Mm-hmm.
They sold every match fucking just perfect. None better than the main event of all 4 nights. Especially that last night, I was screaming at my TV, quite literally. But in this match in particular, Matt Striker and Vampiro did a great job of voicing the story that Killshot and Dante Fox were telling in the ring. Like, they're war brothers, they're blood brothers. They can just communicate on an unbiased level. Look, like, see how they did that? You know, you can only get that if you've been through war together. And because quite literally they had been through war together just a couple of nights before. Mm-hmm. And it was fantastic. Great match. At the end of the night, Mac and Killshot and Dante Fox do defeat the Reptile Tribe or the Snake or whatever the fuck they are. Defeat them to become your new Lucha Underground Trios champions, which is cool by me because I never really liked the Reptile Tribe outside of Drago, personally. Not my cup of tea, but this match was very, very fun. There's one spot in particular where Dante Fox gets tossed on the ground, or he did a suicide dive and landed on the ground, and the camera gets a close-up on his back, and you can see what his back looks like after that Hell of War match, and it is.
Yeah, it's like they ran a cheese grater. It looks like they run a cheese grater.
It is not for the squeamish. I'll put it this way. As y'all know, I have a son and I have my nieces and all that, and I specifically told my dad, do not let them watch that Dante Fox match. They do not need to watch it.
Right, you know, and I've got a nephew about your son's age, and I would not let my nephew watch any of this. I would not let him Lucha Underground. Not till he's older.
Not, you know, some matches I would, some I wouldn't. There's a couple matches in here I definitely would, but for the most part, this is not wrestling for children. And I don't say that to be like, it's not for children, it's wicked cool. It's not. You know, if you want your kid to watch it, by all means, that is your prerogative. I personally would not, and I would advise other people to not.
All right, then we get to the main event of night 3. Yep. Pentagon Dark versus Son of Havoc. It's a ladder match for the vacant Get to the Gods Championship. Now, they both went in through the I guess 7-way match, if you will. They both got a pin. Both got pinfalls at the same time. So it set, and since there could be no ties, they set this match up. These two really delivered with the ladder match. I was wondering how Lucha Underground was going to handle the ladder match. They delivered. There were some times where you know what? One of my biggest criticisms of ladder matches is it's like people forget how to climb a ladder in the middle of a ladder match. Yeah, I know. And in this one, they had it make sense. They didn't go for the ladder immediately. Mm-hmm. You know, it wasn't. I think they went several minutes before they even made an attempt to the ladder. And as soon as they got there, they were immediately cut off. There was none of that stumbling, none of this. Okay, let me climb a rung. Okay, let me climb another rung. No, they kept it fluid to where it looked believable.
Yeah, and the character of Pentagon Dark helps a lot with that because they've said for a while, and they've been building this character. I thought accidentally, but it definitely made sense in this match, that he's not somebody that goes for the pin right away. He's cocky, and he wants to hurt people. And so that came out in this.
Yeah, because there were times where it was like, okay, just go for it. But no, he was setting up ladders to do more damage to Son of Havoc.
And that character, Pentagon Dark, really promoted that. And as y'all know, Pentagon Dark is by far my favorite luchador in the world. Yes. And he, as much as I love Kevin Owens, Pentagon Dark might be my favorite wrestler in the world right now. I adore him.
Oh, and props to Son of Havoc, man, because Son of Havoc he had me convinced that Son of Havoc may actually pull off the win.
Oh yeah, it teeter-tottered a lot. I never went here going, Pentagon Dark's going to win.
I thought when he put him through that ladder, I thought, okay, it's over. It's over. Oh, crap, we're going to see an upset. And no, they just kept going.
Also, props to Havoc because I saw him take a package pile driver onto 4 standing chairs.
Oof.
That was rough. I was like, oh, goddamn. It was awesome. Definitely. And in the end, of course, my boy Pentagon Dark does walk away with the Gift of the Gods championship. And doesn't he just look so good with a belt around his waist? It's perfect. I was so fucking happy. Some wrestlers, and I genuinely mean this, some wrestlers genuinely are better just when they have a title. It's the weirdest thing. Like Kevin Owens is a more enjoyable wrestler when he has a title. Jericho was the same way. And other people like John Cena's and The Rock's and stuff, they don't need a belt. They're cool as is, but there's other people like, man, he's just cooler when he has a belt. Rant over.
Because they got a little bit more swagger with them.
Yeah. And Pentagon Dark is definitely one of those.
All right. Next, we get to the final night 4, the 2-hour season finale. Hopefully not series finale.
Let's hope not, because we're about to leave off on a lot of cliffhangers, boy and girl.
Yeah, I know. We start out with the cage match, Matanza Cueto taking on El Dragon Azteca Jr. In my opinion, Sammy, I think this was the weakest match of the card.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I was disappointed. I guess that would be the best word.
Yeah. And I made a comment on to Booms. Actually, I think I made it on Facebook, and I might retract my statement and say this was the worst match of the night. It was too short, not enough happened, and nothing really became of it at all, even with the quote quote surprise finish. And I made the statement that Dragon Azteca is the Kurt Hawkins of Lucha Underground, because I don't think he's ever won a singles match, not a one. I'm fairly certain he's lost every single one of them.
To which I replied, hey, there's no need for name calling.
It's poor Dragon Azteca. For someone that's super talented, they just treat him like shit.
I know, man. It's like they did like a spot where he literally got thrown through the cage, like the part of the cage collapsed, like
cool.
As Matanza threw, and I was like, technically, is that a win? And I like the fact that Dario was like, no.
Yeah. So technically, Dragon Azteca did win. But because it's Lucha Underground, it's Dario Cueto, and it's his temple, he went, get your ass back in there. Those matches are over yet.
I think had he escaped the cage legitly, and then Dario had reversed it on him, now you got no. You could only win by pinfall or submission now.
Yeah, and we would have more sympathy for Dragon Azteca.
Yeah, you could have got he would have had an out. He would have had the out, but in this, he just looked weak. I mean, he was bounced around like a pinball. Yeah. He's like,
everyone gets bounced around by Jeff Cobb. Like, if you've ever watched any of it, for those that don't know, and this is something that needs to get more information, the Matanza Cueto is Jeff Cobb. And I've known a lot of people that did not know that information. And if you've watched any of Jeff Cobb's matches, it amazes me how much he can just fucking throw people around. He's unbelievable.
He's teamed up with they're the Chosen Bros with was it Matt Riddle?
Yeah, Matt Riddle.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think they're actually about to challenge the Lucha Brothers for the PWG titles, tag team titles, if I'm not mistaken, who they won off of the Young Bucks in an awesome match that I absolutely recommend.
Yeah, I just to me it's like the opposite form of a Western, because El Dragon Azteca has just been beaten down, and I thought he's going to be that gunslinger. He trains, and he goes. But instead, it's instead of beating the bad guy, he gets shot dead.
Yeah, pretty much. He just boop, oh, fuck, I'm dead. His character hasn't been been. And then Black Lotus comes in, and Black Lotus attacks
El Dragon Azteca Jr. Then turns on Matanza Cueto. And gets up in Dario's face and goes, you lied to me. And to which Dario goes, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I lie. And then Matanza attacked Black Lotus. And I'm like, okay, so what did he lie about? Did he lie about his brother not killing? Or
there was no story resolution from this at all. Because no, something I did notice that I don't know if they're going to play off of is when when Matanza did get Wrath of the Gods there, you got really close to her, was playing with her hair, and like he didn't mean to hurt her, he was fascinated with her. So maybe something will come of that, and he will become fascinated with her.
Too bad we're not going to see the Joshi ninjas anymore, but damn it.
So yeah, nothing came of this, and this is probably
I was just
probably the weakest match. I think disappointed is the best way to put it.
Next, we had I think what might have been the bloodiest match that they had.
Man, it's gonna be. I don't know. I think Dante Fox might have had him, but this match was incredible.
Okay, you had Mil Mortez versus Cage versus Jeremiah Crane for the Gauntlet of the Gods. It was a three-way match. It turned into a three-way elimination match. There was multiple spots with chairs, with tables, another pane of glass, and my personal favorite, wooden spikes.
Oh my God! Fucking.
I've got to ask you, Sammy.
Kudos.
I got to ask you, Sammy. Did they cross the line? Did they go too far?
I think that one might have been, for me personally, once goes too far. Personally, you know, I don't think it took anything away, but I don't think it added anything. Like that one, it played up to the character of Jeremiah Crane. So essentially, what happened, ladies and gentlemen, Jeremiah Crane had went underneath the ring, came out, and he's playing the Lucha Death Machine, which he played up to the fucking full extent of the word.
Yeah.
He got up. Kane was going to come pull him over the top rope, and when he pulled him over the top rope, Crane, they're like little, like they're barbecue skewers, is essentially what they looked like, and he hit a Cage in the top of the head with these skewers, and then knocked him in, and you could see where they were staying in his head, and he was bleeding down his fucking face. And then didn't he DDT him on top of those as well? Like I think he did.
I think
yes.
He took it. He did like a spot where he at least spiked him, and he still had at least. I remember it was kind of scary because I think when he did that, Cage still had one sticking at the top of his fucking head.
Yeah, it was rough.
Mil Mortez got put through a pane of glasses, like he was going, and you could
see everywhere.
I mean, Jeremiah Crane was a bloody goddamn mess.
Where the fuck did he get busted? Because it just like he looked fine, and then he walked away, and then I noticed like a trail of blood on the outside of the ring, and then he came back, and there's just blood everywhere.
I mean, it was like a fucking horror movie.
It really was.
It was a fucking horror movie.
It really was. I mean, I guess with these three guys, it could have been. Because what they said, it was Death itself, the Lucha Destroyer, and then the Lucha Machine, and then the Lucha Death Machine. So it worked out probably intentionally that way.
It was a great big man match. There was a suplex from the outside, from the in the ring, outside the ring, through two tables.
Yep. I love Mil Muertes. I loved everybody in this match, and it really. Every time I see Jeremiah Crane or I see Sami Callihan, it just depresses me. Like what could have been in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the fuck happened there. If they just cut him on his.
He was just wasn't allowed to be him, and he's beating him right now, and so that's how he's making money.
And it worked.
I should mention that Jeremiah Crane was the first one eliminated, but
he was the first one eliminated.
He really didn't go out. I mean, he was just kind of hanging around, got involved, but Mil Mortez eventually. He won the match. By the way, can I just say that the ending just felt kind of flat? It just kind of like, okay, the match is over.
A little bit. Like there needed to be a more.
I mean, he hits his move, the flatliner, but he just kind of like they were doing a sequence, and boom, he hits the flatliner and just pins it 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, okay, it's like they're going to pick up spots. We're done.
And it might have been a timing thing. They're like, guys, y'all got to wrap up right now. Even if he would have like flatlined on top of some chairs or something like that, I'd have taken that. It is not. Don't think that ruins this match because it's still fucking fantastic, and I love Mil Muertes. Love him. He's by far my favorite big guy luchador. He might be one of my favorite big guy wrestlers. Period. I love Mil Muertes.
Oh, and
here's where shit got interesting.
Which was okay. He puts on the gauntlet. He slams it down the ring. The lights go off. Lights come back up. King Cuerno is standing in the ring. You know, he's been gone the entire season. He hits a pile driver or Michinoku driver on Mortez and steals the Gauntlet of the Gods, and he walks off with it. I'm like, where the?
Yeah, where did you come from? Part of me was wondering if that was the original King Cuerno for a little bit because it didn't look like him.
Oh, it was him. It was him.
And then I finally was like, let me go look up pictures. He's got the tattoos. Okay, that's him. So that was cool. And who would have thought that the style of a rancher shirt, cowboy shirts, cowboy hat, and a lucha mask was cool as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But he did, and he makes it work. So yes, technically, none of the three people going into this. Let's make a point too. We forgot about this. I believe at the end of night 1 or the last night before Lucha Ultima Lucha, whoever it is that Dario Cueto was working for, his little manservant came to Dario Cueto and told him, "This is your last chance. Like Brian Cage cannot win this thing again because you cannot control him like you said we would be able to. One of the other two has to do it. It's essentially what was happening. And Cueto told him, don't worry, we'll figure it out. So when they lost the damn gauntlet, essentially, that is going to come back into play later tonight. But for now, that is a big deal because they made a very specific purpose of showing you that this gauntlet was a huge deal.
We get to the main event. It's Johnny Mundo versus Prince Puma. It's title versus career. And son of a bitch, they fucking delivered.
Fucking fantastic. This match, and I'm not going to give you a spoiler because I almost did by accident. I'm going to give it to you later. This match, if this was the match they said this is the last Lucha Underground match ever, I don't think I would be disappointed. It was so much fun. I believed they were throwing everything they had at one another. Again, shout out to Matt Stryker and Vampiro who sold the fuck out of this match. I would be amazed if Matt Stryker had a voice the next day. He was screaming at the top of his lungs. They threw everything at they one another. The Worldwide Underground got involved. And who came back to help Prince fucking Puma?
Angelico.
And motherfucking Angelico came in with his long-ass legs and started throwing knees around like a motherfucker. They finally go into the final spot, and God damn it.
You got to do the referee spot. Mike fucking Knox.
Oh, I forgot about that.
They beat, after, I think it was Marty Elias got knocked out, they brought in Mike Knox. Or not Mike Knox, but they brought in Knox.
I think it was Mike Knox, and they brought in Marty Elias to finish it.
No, it was the opposite way around because Knox was the backup.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Because they brought in, and when he couldn't do the 3 count, the Worldwide Underground beat the shit out of him. But after all that melee and when they started clearing the ring, Knox had enough, so he did a little planche over there on top of it.
Yeah, he did a fucking
It wasn't perfect, but dude, it was.
And it landed right on the ring apron. It looked like it hurt so bad. But fucking props, and anywhere else that would have been goofy as shit. And again, they built up the story. Maybe in this match, maybe a little bit earlier with Matt Trey. And they're like, fucking shout out to our referees. They have to put up with a lot of bullshit from our wrestlers. Sowing the seeds for this. And it makes sense because your referees are your unsung heroes in a weird way. And they do put up with a lot of bullshit in Lucha Underground. And they had a fucking enough. It was awesome. It was like the revenge of the referee. I loved it. So we go into the final sequence.
They clear it out. They clear out the ring. It's just one-on-one. It's just beautiful.
So he goes up top. Prince Puma hits us. By the way, Prince Puma is in his original gear again. That was awesome. It was like the return of the hero. It was the hero's tale. He had made his redemption and came back. He goes up there. He hits his finisher. 1, 2, 3. Prince Puma wins the Lucha Underground Championship. And I was freaking out. I was so excited.
Everybody was popping. But then However,
it was at this point in time, it dawned on me. I looked down. I'm like, there's 20 fucking minutes left. And all you hear is, hold on. And I was like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. He comes out there and congratulates Prince Puma. And he said, usually I demand that people give me some time to be able to promote a match like this. But what the hell? Let's go ahead and do this. You're going to have one more match tonight. And it's going to be against the current Gift of the Gods champion. And I think I got naked. I think I just flung my clothes off because I was about to flip my fucking shit. And out comes Pentagon motherfucking Dark. And he said, let's make it a little more interesting. You're both putting your titles on the line. If you're cashing in the Gift of the Gods. Whoever loses is gone from Lucha Underground forever. And you're
So it turned into a loser leaves town match.
God damn, guys. This match, like the previous match was by far the more technically sound, better wrestling match. But because there was so much writing in on this one, and you could feel it in the air, feel it with the crowd that this was Pentagon tonight. That crowd was 100% behind him. Yeah, Prince Puma. Sorry, Max. Sorry, Johnny Mundo. Their most popular superstar is Pentagon. Or Penta OM, whatever you want to call. I'm going to call him Pentagon Jr. forever.
Yeah, that's what we'll always call him.
Exactly.
No, he did
this match was great.
Yeah, he broke or dislocated Prince Puma's arm early.
And at the beginning of the match.
And so, Prince Puma just pulled a Sabu. He just got some tape, taped up his arm, and just kept going.
Yeah, and he sold it really well for the rest of the night, and even the viewers, you kind of forget that he broke it.
And then
So he sets him up. Was it the 900? I forget what the fuck he calls it.
6:30. I think it was the 6:30.
He sets him up for the 6:30, and all of a sudden you stop hearing Vampiro on the fucking commentary, and your Matt Striker's like, "Where are you going? What are you doing? What are you doing?" And Matt Striker's stalling it. He's so mantic, and there's just chaos going inside the nipple. And when he goes to hit the 6:30, fucking Vampiro pulls Pentagon out of the way, and he lands. And I was just like, "What the fuck?" Fucking Pentagon gets up. He hits him with the fear factor. Couldn't keep him down. Sets him up for the package pile driver. Hits Pentagon with the package pile driver. Matt Striker is freaking out.
He's pissed off.
Vampiro. He's like, "Don't you fucking come back here. Do not come sit back down and do this. I will get this little kid right sitting next to me to announce the rest of this match. I cannot believe." And he's selling it. The entire crowd's going insane. Pentagon goes in. 1, 2, 3. And Pentagon fucking Junior, Pentagon Dark, whatever, is your new and current reigning, as it is, Lucha Underground champion.
Everybody's going crazy, and then it was just dude. It was exhausting just watching it. I mean, my heart was racing. And it's just like, I don't know if you've ever physically been exhausted from watching a wrestling match and being so far into it, but it was physically exhausting to watch.
It really was. And again, I'm screaming at my TV, not because I'm just a huge Pentagon Junior fan, but because Prince Puma was the heart and soul of Lucha Underground, man. So he kind of, like, to go back to the illusion that Booms used earlier, he was that cowboy gunslinger, and he had that one last thing. But he won it. Then somebody better came in and was like, "Look, it's your time to leave." And he didn't want to leave quietly, and he was forced to. But that's not where it ends, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Fucking Pentagon cuts a promo, talks about how the temple is his now. He's the Lucha Underground champion. I wore my Pentagon shirt. I actually was wearing my Pentagon shirt last night and yesterday because I was so excited. I was hoping somebody would notice, but no one gave a shit. Rightfully so. And then we go to an after credit scene that throws so much fucking information at you. And you're just like, "Well, I feel like I need to take notes." So it is fucking crazy. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a list of everything that happened.
I will go off memory the best I can.
Same here.
Prince Puma walks out. He takes off his mask. He drops it on the floor, leaves the temple. I think maybe they're setting it up to where somebody can take up the mantle and become Prince Puma Jr.
I'm thinking it's going to be probably Dragon Azteca, if I had to guess.
Maybe something like that would take over the mantle.
I know you see Matanza Cueto in his cage, and it pans over, and you see that Dario also has Rey Mysterio locked up. Now, whether willingly or unwillingly, we do not know. Then you see Sexy Star is signing a bunch of autographs for some people. Some little girl comes up, hands it to her, and says she hasn't forgotten you. She opens it up, and there's a spider inside. What the fuck is that all about? You see the Rabbit Tribe is bowing before Masquerade Sagrada. And finally, Masquerade Sagrada is like, "Listen, motherfuckers, I'm not the White Rabbit, but I can take you to him." What the fuck didn't you do that months ago? God damn it. You see the Reptile Tribe is with Daga, who I forgot was even fucking in Lucha Underground.
Yeah,
because he wasn't in season 3 at all.
Yeah, like Pendar is like tied up on like an altar, and here comes Daga. He's got like a sword, and Cobra Moon's like, take his place as my king. And Daga cut off fucking Pendar's fucking head.
Pendar's dead. He fucking killed Pendar. Oh God, what else did they show?
You saw both Melissa Santos and Phoenix kissing. They get in the car. There's something in the back seat. I don't know what it was.
I couldn't see what it was.
I couldn't really see. I was thinking maybe it was the stone that Mil Mortis has, but
I couldn't tell.
I don't know. I really couldn't tell what it was from there. They leave out, and there's Jeremiah Crane just scowling at the top of the temple.
Because Katrina's walking after them.
Mm-hmm.
It showed Katrina, and then you see Jeremiah Crane sitting on the top of the temple, just like fawning over Katrina. They showed King Cuerno sitting the gauntlet, and again, cowboy attire and lucha mask fucking works somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Then the final one that I remember, and easily the most important one, is that you see Vampiros talking to somebody, and I could barely understand what the guy was saying. And it's finally He's like, yes, it all happened the way we were supposed to. Pentagon Dark is now the Lucha Underground champion. And the figure that he's talking to says, good, now we can set up his fall. And I don't know who the fuck that was. Maybe you do. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's like you've done well. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So he was being controlled by somebody else. Like, whoa, there's a twist.
Yeah, he was being controlled by somebody else. And I assume if we get to a season 4, this is where that battle I've been talking about forever is going to come from. But instead of Prince Puma being the one that's going to lead the battle, I think it's going to be Pentagon Dark is the one. If we get a season 4, he's the one that's going to lead the battle against Vampiro, who's actually been a villain the entire time.
And then you have the closing. You have that FBI agent walk into Dario's office. And
holy shit!
And
so FBI walks in, he's talking to him, and he offers him a drink, and he's like, I'm sorry for losing the gauntlet, but don't worry, I'm going to get it back. I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. You're going to get a pass. I was, okay. Why? He's like, because you're dead. And the guy calmly gets up, pulls out a gun, and fucking shoots Dario Cueto.
Like 3
or 4 times. And then there's this excruciating scene with Dario holding that Red Bull, which I have a feeling is going to mean something here in a little while. And he reaches for his phone. He dials somebody. I could have swore he said Papa.
I think he said that because I don't know if that's a nickname or if he was actually calling his dad.
No telling. But he tries to call somebody to get help. And I'm fairly certain he said Papa. And then it ends with Dario Cueto dying or dead on his desk.
Or passing out, either one. Yeah. I mean, he was shot like in the stomach or whatever, like at least 3 times.
Yeah. And you can't fucking deal Dario Cueto. Like, if you kill Dario Cueto, who are me, Boobs, and Coco going to have the Dario Cueto 1980s fan club about?
Exactly, man. We
brought
a new Xerox machine just for that.
You can't fucking kill Dario Cueto. He is the linchpin of all Lucha Underground. But seriously, guys, the entire night, all 4 nights, I think this was by far the best Ultima Lucha they've had. A lot of people said Ultima Lucha 2 did not live up to the par that was Ultima Lucha 1, and I'll agree to an extent. But Ultima Lucha 3, even though Season 3, especially the second half of Season 3, was slow. And I'm somebody that's a huge Lucha Underground fan. There were several episodes.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that, that they have left unresolved. Remember Ramirez and the deal she had with Katrina about getting the gauntlet.
Yep.
You had Cortez Castro going undercover in there. I wonder how things were going with that. What about this war? Who's the shadowy figure that was always like the cigar in the limo?
Yep. There's a lot of unresolved questions. And just from a pure in-ring storytelling point, the second half of Lucha or Season 3 just didn't deliver to me. It was slow, but Ultima Lucha 3 completely redeemed the entire 3rd season to me. And you don't have to really have any prior knowledge going into any of these matches because they will give you all the story that you need. Please do yourself a favor, go watch all 4 nights. A little under 5 hours.
Yeah,
I think it's like 4 hours.
Here's the bad news. Now, if we get a Season 4, if we get it, it may not be as long as the other seasons. It's going to probably have a reduced budget.
Yep.
And if they start shooting it, we're looking to January, February before they even start filming.
Yep. I think they're trying to get funding, if I'm not mistaken, right now.
I'm surprised they haven't started to GoFundMe.
I'd fucking give them money. I still stand by the fact that I think if they're going to do an Ultima Lucha Cinco, is that 4? No, that's
Quattro.
I don't know Spanish. If they do an Ultima Lucha Quattro, film your whole season and then do Ultima Lucha live. If you can't get tickets, broadcast it to theaters like they've done with so many events lately. So you could buy a ticket and go watch it live in a movie theater. I've done that with several things. I've done that with some laugh tracks. I've done that with some concerts. Mind you, I didn't really want to go to the concert. I got free tickets. But I think that'd be a great way, and you're going to make lots of money doing that. And you could sell Lucha Underground tickets for a live main event for astronomical prices. But I still stand by that. But they've got to get some funding. And we really need to get Chris Joseph on here again and try and grill him for some answers.
It's like, what do you know? What can you tell us? We need it.
I do. I need this in my life, especially since my favorite fucking wrestler is their champion, and there might never be another episode. I don't care if they turned it into a comic book. I'd keep reading it.
Yeah, but I wonder where it's going to happen now. I mean, you've got a lot of people who've left AAA, and that's what was their primary feeder. I mean,
Pentagon Jr. was their main. He's their champion, and he's one of the biggest ones, if not the biggest name that left.
Yeah, he left. Phoenix left. Taya left.
Taya and Johnny Mundo both left. They're at TNA now. Well, maybe Johnny Mundo might be there because he was there.
I think Mundo's still there because that was the whole thing of Triple Mania.
Yeah, that was a fucking. Taya, I know, got fucked over real bad. She was on Jericho's podcast, and she got dicked over real bad by Vampiro. By the whole community, but she got dicked over pretty hard.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Vampiro, buddy, you got to work on your pacing. You've got to work on booking. Because here's the thing:
I didn't think he was booking, I thought he was just talent relations.
Yeah, because he did. Because I tell you right now, Ultima Lucha Tres, after watching Triple Mania, that's got Vampiro's fingerprints all over it.
Yeah.
Because everything had blood, everything had some kind of like insane spot, everything. I mean, it's just everything had some kind of interference, some kind of. I mean, it was just. Whew.
Triple Mania was rough. There are 3 good matches in Triple Mania. Triple Mania was also like 17 years long. I swear to God, it was like 7 hours long. It was as long.
I think it's still going on now. I think
it probably is.
It's competing with WrestleMania for the longest goddamn runtime.
I know people talk about how long WrestleMania is, and it is. But I swear to God, I had a harder time staying in Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom never fucking ends. Ever. It lasts forever. But I guess that's going to wrap us up here. Boom, boom.
Oh, yeah. It's good to be back. And for those of you wondering about the future of the channel, there's been some concerns, but, what can I say? Real life gets away in the internet. I'm on the verge of about this close to getting my old life back. For those of you who may not know, almost this time last year, my wife, was having some medical issues, eventually led to surgery. The bills came in, and I could not make the payment, so I had to get a second job. So I spent a lot of time working anywhere from 60 to 70 hours a week. And I spent every dime of that extra money I got to put towards her medical bills. I think one payment plan had me doing it in 12 months. Another estimate had me completing payments in 10 months. I did it in 6. I completed payment, and I'm trying to get out of that job now and just go back to my main job full time, just doing just that. And so now that I got that done,
send your good vibes to continue sending your good vibes to Boom Boom. And it's, I hate to say it, all y'all know I was in Birmingham. I've since moved in April to a new job in Opelika, which is further south of Birmingham. And I set up a new store, and they were so impressed with that my job has essentially sent me all over the Southeast. So I'm traveling a lot, and my weekends are at home with my son. So I apologize. I wish I could get on here more. I really do. But it's tough. So when me and Boom Booms can do these things, we want to make them special, like tonight, because we both watched Lucha. We both watched Lucha, or Ultima Lucha. Like, man, we've got to talk about this one. We've got to talk about this one. And we thoroughly enjoyed it. So we're going to try and get some more stuff. If we can ever get life to chill out some more, bear with us. We're going to give you as much as we can. We are human, after all. Despite what some of y'all might think about us, we are indeed human.
Yep. And now I'm about to take a much-needed vacation. Hopefully I run into Sammy, next week.
You coming down? Are you going to homecoming?
Yes, I am.
Don't know if I'm going to be able to go.
You have to. Crow's Chicken compels you.
Yeah. Oh, God, I hate Crow's Chicken. It was awful. I hated it so much. If I don't get to go and you come through Birmingham, though, let me know. We can go get some margaritas or something because they're old.
Okay, bro.
Cool. But before we leave out, ladies and gentlemen, let's get real sexy because it's sexy time this morning. You know how it's going to get. It's going to get real dirty, real sloppy. I've got something lined up good for you tonight. You know what we're going to do, boys and girls? I want you to go in that bathroom. I want you to take your 6-foot-tall, life-size cutout John Cena cardboard stock. I want you to run a nice bubble bath. Make sure you use them scented bubbles. You know you like them scented bubbles.
You both gonna get down and dirty in that bathtub. Go ahead and throw on that Marvin Gaye and that 311. Gonna put you real deep in the mood. That cardboard's gonna get a little soggy, but don't you worry. That's gonna give you the cushion for the pushing. And I'm gonna go ahead and you gonna make sweet, passionate, sweet John Cena love. The triple A style, double A style, single A style to that thing. You're gonna get real sexy, real nasty, real quick.
Got to end it on that. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe on KocoSports.com, KOCOSports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass. Oh, good God. God, I miss doing this. So I will see you guys on the flip side. So this is Booms for Sammy and for Dave Coco. The boom just went bang, and I am out.